Okay, so let's talk about bromance again. And I'm so intrigued by this idea of male friendships that build businesses, stay together, and really, and still stay friends, right? So when did you first meet?
New York, 2007/2008.
Right, and you were both in investment banking, right? Okay. So what was your first impression of Ethan?
Well, I think back in 2007, I think there was basically at the investment banking kind of like gathering, and it was quite relatable actually the first time we met because we were probably the only two person that didn't come from an Ivy League school, but at like an investment banking type of like a training. So like, the two underdogs. So quickly, like very relatable. But for me, it was like very interesting because heading to Hong Kong for me as a first job, it was kind of a new region for me. So he was kind of from Taiwan, China, Hong Kong as well, and I was trying to understand more what the region was about, etc.
Right, and you hail from Mauritius, and you hail from? Taiwan. So two underdog islands, really. Okay, so we're going to use the hero's journey slide to tell your story, and we're not going to start at the top of the circle because that will take 2 days, right? So we're going to basically fast forward to the bottom, which is the abyss, which is the death and rebirth, right? And we all know what that death was, right? So congratulations on turning 9. Great comeback, right?
Thank you.
$3 billion in annual gross booking value. Yes. Fantastic. So we now go into the transformation, right, part. So Eric, I read that at 9 years old, a kid will start engaging in long, detailed conversations, right? And they will talk about saving the whales and saving the rainforest. And so what are the long, detailed conversations you're having at Klook now versus when you were a kid?
Yeah, I guess when we were, earlier in the journey, it was a lot more about really focusing on the different business opportunities, jumping at, solving problems right away, etc. Now, I would say that those are still quite relevant, but we're definitely spending a little bit more time to talk about building a well-oiled engine. And when it comes to that, it's all about people, the org, which is rather new to us as first-time entrepreneurs. So a lot of talking and learning on that end. And I would say a second topic that we talk a bit more nowadays is indeed about what's the impact that we bring as a corporate citizen. So on that topic this year, the first time that we built a sustainability team in-house. 2 areas that we're going to be focusing on. One is going carbon neutral, and second is, I think, a lot more relevant to Asia, is about animal welfare.
Animal welfare. Okay, that's great. Because yesterday we had Eric, a record speaking about how the lens will change in sustainability to biodiversity, and that's going to be the new lens. So Ethan, let's go to the abyss there. And what was the revelation you think that led to the rebirth of Klook? Right? What was the key pivotal idea that you rallied around to transform your business, to bring your business back?
2 fronts for that. I think sometimes it's actually more important from internal changes versus external changes. Right, so I don't know how many people read the book, The Heart of the Hard Things. Right, so one thing that really hit me, especially going through all the journey, is the hard things is not about dream big, achieving goal. The hard things is when you wake up in the middle of the night in a sweaty nightmare dream, and how to get out of that. Right, so the thing that really transforming, for all of us internally is how we really cope with all the journeys and become much more zen, peaceful in a way that you can just deal with all the different challenges. And I think we all grew up through that journey. Externally, business-wise, that actually, with that internal piece, then you actually start thinking and strategizing what is the right thing to do in the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years. Then coming down to what does change, what doesn't change. Right. So to understand what does not change, that set you on the path to the much longer term. Then you're pivoting for all the near term. So what hasn't changed for us? 1, our mission never changed since day 1. Right. It's very simple, but we do believe it's quite powerful. How we really able to bridge the wall, the communities better through experiences. So that doesn't change. So anything we do is around with that concept. What also doesn't change is how we have all these amazing partners we are working with. Because they will still exist for 10, 20, 30, 50 years, right? People still do bungee jump in 50 years' time. People still go to Disney, Sentosa, all these amazing places. So we know we need to put a lot of effort, continual investment into our time and effort with our partners. But what does change is how fast the market has been rapid evolving because of all the things. So then for us, we just need to move fast. We start, scaling our creators. We are, looking at the verticals of the changing consumer behavior. So we launched the car rentals. So how we make that trip more seamless. So we always look at what doesn't change and lead to, in the short term, what we need to change to make it more relatable to the market.
You became more zen and then focus on what won't change, and then really execute on what changes. And one of the things that has changed is, Klook has really become a powerful marketing beast, right? Using social media. And you talked about the creators. So at your 9th birthday, you really you unveiled your creators program, and these were the numbers you said, and you said social media is able to become a conversion engine. So talk to me about that, about how it is becoming a conversion engine. Because yesterday, Chris Hamilton, I think he said that this was a real opportunity to really disrupt top of the funnel search.
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, social media content creation isn't new to us. Really from day one, I would say, because we started, when social media was on the rise. So that has been something that we've been banging on. It's just that I think over the last year, which actually we saw how social media is transforming, we decided that it's now the best time to double down. And when we started doubling down is when we created this program called Klook Creator, for which during the birthday, we've rallied about 3,500 of those creators to join us out of a global network of 10,000 plus. And why this pivotal moment is indeed when we speak to the different social media platforms, they are indeed transforming from just a, capture the upper funnel only to also able to measure conversion. It's not all the way there yet, but it is heading there. And in fact, we also operate in China, and with TikTok, Douyin, and Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, we have already seen that started to evolve, right? And that evolution, we believe, will come to the global markets as well. So we do strongly believe that social media can be a viable channel for marketing. And lastly is the fact that for our generation of travelers, the next generation of travelers, they are all about social media. It's not a preference, but it's pretty much a must that they would be using social media to not only post, but also review and get inspiration.
Right. So Ethan, you said that really what hasn't changed is your business and how you bridge communities around experiences, but you also really went into car rental. That was a vertical you went into during the pandemic, and it kind of saved you because road trips became a thing, right? So how big is the rental market, a car rental market?
I think we're probably the largest car rental platform for APAC right now, from the number of days and cars rent. And powered by...
What are those numbers?
It's 9-digit. It's in a 9-digit.
Okay.
Yeah. So just growing rapidly in the last 2 or 3 years. I think it's powered by a very interesting trend is, if you're looking from China outbound, they actually don't drive in Asia because of the international lessons. But when you look at the entire APAC, Singaporeans drive a lot when they travel, Malaysians drive a lot, Thai drive a lot, Taiwan, Hong Kong also drive quite a bit, Korean drives a lot, Australian drives a lot.
Right.
So all these markets are actually powered really the growth of the car rental as they are arriving at destinations. And I think COVID really accelerated because now people prefer their own space. So for us, car rental is a natural extension about how you make sure people can go to different places, experience different things as a means of transportation.
Right.
So it's always part of our core business, how we make sure people can get there and enjoying the things they are doing.
Okay, so you also went into hotels, right, as well? So, not that focused just on tours and activities, but hotels. So how are hotels performing relative to tours and activities? Because if we look at revenues now, like Viator's revenues are actually surpassing hotel revenues. So how do you see the balance between these two verticals?
Yeah, well, if I take a step back about the hotel, during COVID, it gave us an opportunity, this crisis gave us an opportunity to dabble into the hotel category, where we've done very well in staycation, not just actually in Singapore for those who are in Singapore, but also in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and some other markets. And right now, post-COVID, we basically extended that into what we now call Stay Plus, right? So Stay Plus is a bundling of experiences and accommodation together, because we believe that more and more people would be determining where they will stay based on what they want to do. So that's kind of the concept behind that. Now, we're in a very early stage, but I would say that, one, hoteliers are very receptive to that, because when they exist on the other platforms, it's very much about a price comparison on which bed is cheaper. But with us, it's about what is there to offer in the surrounding of that hotel, but also even about at the hotel, right? It could be even an amazing spa experience, maybe a Michelin dining experience that you can yield up on top of just competing on the price of the bed.
Right. So which do you make more margins on, tours and activities or hotels right now?
For the time being, I think for hotel, it's more about really getting the community, the hotel community in. The experiences part is still the bread and butter. Eventually, we'll really expand further into that hotel or stay plus category.
Okay. So if you want to ask questions, remember 9692. Oh, all right. I already have a question. 96924989. When do you think Klook will go public, Ethan?
Well, as what we've been saying, being from a banking background, I have been doing over 20 billions of MAs and IPO, in my previous life, right? I think, I'm older in Klook now. So we always prepare the company to be ready, whether it's compliance, governance, financials, auditing. So for us, it's always about when is the right market opportunities. Mm-hmm. It's less about us, because for us, IPO is just another potential milestone.
Right, so 2 years, 3 years?
All possible.
But it was funny, during the media event, I was asked a lot of similar questions in Bangkok when we were doing the media event, and I said, anytime ready, the company is very well prepared for that. And then somehow the news report came out to be, the company is ready. And it's all going, it was tweaked, but yes.
All right, so, you talked about how you went Zen, and not so chasing down the rabbit hole and all that. And, talent is going to be the differentiator, right? Cultural knowledge is going to be the differentiator in this age of tech. So you went through a lot of staff churn during COVID, right? But how are you taking care of your staff differently now? How do you take care of your talent differently now versus before?
I go first? Okay, sure.
You're so polite.
Yeah, this is a tough
that's
one.
why they're friends.
This is a tough one, right? I think really going through the mental status of everyone. I'm sure everyone here, we all coming from the travel industry, so everyone can feel related. The last 3 years hasn't been easy. And the big thing is, when you're constantly busy and working on things, you don't see result, right? Because you can work on something so hard, and suddenly another market just closed down for another 3 months. So all your effort went to wasted. Right? I mean, that's what people went through in the last 3 years. Everyone on this role, and everyone who may not have a chance to join. So to really deal with that kind of mentality is what we, including for ourselves, is what we really have to provide and, be there with everyone and go through it. So 2 things, also, inner, externally. So to me, inner myself, how you feel, how you show your vulnerabilities at the same time, right? I mean, no one is a Superman. How you feel, how you show the vulnerabilities, that how you also that other people know that you're going through the same things, right? Then you talk and walk through with every single person who goes through that tough time together, and that really helps people to look at things, feel more related, feel that there is the I can't find the right term. Someone next to you who can go through the hardship.
Right.
And then within the company, we actually established a wellness program, which I think Eric, overseeing this right now, so he can share a bit more.
To add on that, right? So I think the feeling of nothingness is worse than when feeling busy and the burnout. I feel that in our journey of 9 years this year, the first time when we really need to think about the company mental wellness for our colleagues was actually not during 2019 at the peak of travel, but actually it's during COVID.
Yep.
And would you say that during COVID, everyone is so busy and truly burned out? I think it's a different way of burning out because of the nothingness. Now getting back into the track where things are moving really fast, I think feeling engaged, feeling the purpose again, feeling the growth, whether it's for the company, but as well as personally, I think that's a lot more satisfying. Maybe, yes, it could come with burnout, but in contrast, it's like so much better than compared to during COVID.
Nothingness, okay.
Yes, but having said that, right, yes, I think, as people get busy, etc., how do we have programs that handle that? So recently we've launched the workation program, something that we're very proud as a company, as a travel company. It's basically encourage our staff to be on the road, but at the same time able to work on the road so that it's not like taking holidays on that.
All right, so let's engage with the audience and do the poll. If you haven't, please scan the polling. And we want to do some predictions, right? In 2019, we collected 42 predictions. I'm going to share 3 here, and you pick the one that you agree with, okay? So what will travel look like in 2029? The first one is local communities, a new generation who can improve local economy while preserving culture and environment, the rise of tranquility travel, and explosion of connectivity will change how Asians relate to each other. Ethan, which one would you pick, or throw in your own prediction?
C.
C? Explosion of connectivity.
Yeah, I agree with A.
A, okay, so local communities, explosion of connectivity will change how we relate to each other. Okay, so now we want to come back to, let's see what the audience says. I forgot about them. Local communities. There we are. Local communities is Ethan. People don't agree with you. Don't take it personally.
I'm very fair, right? We cannot just look at the new generation only, right? There is still even millennial. Do you know how old is millennial right now? 43.
So
44.
So old.
Exactly. Right. When we keep saying millennial, we actually don't realize that millennials, 1980, they are what we are around the early 40s already, right? So it cannot just be a young generation things, right? Travel is a mass market. It's what everyone feel related to, and given the digital age of the millennial, it's already become the majority. Yeah.
I still remember Ethan and Eric pitching in Tokyo in 2015. At that time, you didn't even have your mobile app yet. Remember?
Yes.
I mean, and they haven't changed. They haven't aged at all. This is really unfair. Really unfair. Okay, back to the hero's journey, and we come to atonement, right? And perhaps that could be interpreted as return on investment for your investors. Have the conversations changed with your investors? Have they become more empathetic, softer? Who deals with them, by the way?
I deal a bit more. They were empathetic during COVID.
And now?
But not so much once the market is expecting to open.
Right.
Everyone chasing our ass. What is next? Are you ready? Have you been prepared? What do you see? Right. So, we always see our shareholders and our investors as partners. And I do think that building up the trust and transparency ever since day one is what we have been getting all the support. So that's also the reason why we actually get a fundraising even during COVID time.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
Yeah. So is there pressure from the investors for you to go public?
We are only 9 years old. Our average company going public around 15.
Oh, got 6 more years to go then.
Well, but you can always be,
Okay.
But Skip feel great.
Yeah, but I caught up with Johannes Reck when he was here, right? And he said how everybody's become friendlier, like you guys are now working together, and how investors now, or how the conversation is not about growth at all costs, but it's now profitability. So is that conversation real?
I think that conversation is for the entire tech sectors, right? And I think for ourselves, we're actually ahead of our trajectory of our own forecast in both ends of the growth as well as profitability at scale. Right? And yes, the entire sector become much more friendly. Okay. Right? People are looking for the growth and the efficiency improvement. All
right, so we have a question. And it says, during COVID, you say you'll be focusing on staycation, car rental, insurance, and Klook Pass. So how well are the Klook Fah and insurance business doing?
Wow, that's someone that has really paid attention to what we are.
We pay attention. Our audience pays attention. Yeah.
Klook Fah is actually doing amazing. We have launched that in the most popular destinations, and it's actually become one of the top 3, top 5 products that are being booked. I think for the consumer, it makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of bundle savings that comes with that, and it actually helps some of our small and medium merchants to get discovered through the pass. So that makes a lot of sense, and we do expand that to more destinations. What was current, I think it was touched on. What else?
Insurance.
Insurance.
Insurance. I think insurance is a long-term game, but yeah, you can talk about it a bit more.
For insurance, I think for us, it's just how you're providing additional safety, additional comfort and protection for the consumer who are in need. Right? I mean, we're dealing with the experience sector. It's not like all the insurance products has been standardized. Right? You can go to Australia with a bungee jump that is well insurance covered, but you go to Nepal, which is how we, during that trip, we were doing whitewater rafting, correct? We don't trust the insurance policies that they provided, right? You don't know what's the details. You don't know if you can actually climb it, right? So I think for us, it's because of nature of travel. So the insurance is not like insurance. To us, it's just auxiliary things that really add into additional comfort.
How well is it
for the consumers?
How well is it doing?
It's around high single digits need for the bookings that we have.
So every sector that you've gone in is doing well. What is not doing well?
There are things, yes. I mean, what's not doing well?
What is not doing well?
We had home experiences during COVID. That was just a sunset. So when people cannot go out, we actually did live experiences, like people doing yoga class online, people interacting with the cooking.
I got a kit like how to make mooncakes or something, right? Okay. All right.
So that we sunset, that we see once the market open, people actually don't want to stay home. They want to have that kind of people interaction. Right. So that's something we didn't do well, and we sunset it.
Right. What about because now I think even platforms have to really create original experiences, right? I mean, yesterday at the experiences panel, we say, when you go to Mount Fuji, you see 10 versions of Mount Fuji tour, and you don't know what to buy and all that, right? So how are you approaching the creation of original Klook experiences?
Well, there is a fundamental understanding of that, right? When we say Klook experiences, we're working with our partners. I think one fundamental is you are not the organizer or the partner itself. So you cannot be a platform, but also doing your own tools. So anything we create is we co-create.
Right.
We don't just go there and doing other people's business, because that's not how a platform functions. I can't comment on other platforms, but at least for us, that's what we believe. So then to extending that, so we're really working with the partners to look at what are some of the opportunities in the different market that may have not adopted into this market, but we see because of what that market has to offer, it can be something to bring to the consumer. So for example, kimono dressing in Japan, right, and the hanbok dressing up in Korea was very popular. So we thought, what are other culture people actually have very nice outfit? People dress up. So in the last 12 months, the dressing up, going to temple in Thailand and Bangkok, we make it very popular. We convince several partners to really doing this business, and they continue to flourish. So you take one
good idea and apply to
different market that have some similarities.
Okay. So, Eric, you were the one that really got the Taylor Swift partnership. Am I right in saying that? So
no, the team did.
The team did.
Yes.
Okay. So who's next?
Who's next?
Yeah.
Well, that's very sensitive to reveal, but I would say there's a lot of events, right? It's not just concert. You have sports, right? Recently we do the Tour de France in Singapore, and I do think that in Asia there's 3 major events, arts and culture hub. One is Singapore for sure. The next one, I certainly believe that Hong Kong is well positioned for that, and the next contending one I think is Bangkok.
Right. How much money did you make from the Taylor Swift experience?
Decent.
9-digit?
No.
All right. So you talked about animal welfare, and we have a question that how are you reviewing working with attractions that are animal based?
Yeah. So animal welfare is a very tricky subject. Western view of it versus an Asian view of it is also very different. I think animal welfare, we cannot also look at it just by animal only. I think there's something that actually adjacent to it is community. right? In Asia, so many communities depends on animals and elephants, right? So if we say that, hey, anything that deals with elephants, we have to take it out, it's not just, you're saving probably the elephant, but the community will really suffer, and then they may go do something very extreme, right? So we are taking a step-by-step approach on that front. First of all, we've reviewed our own policies around what is really, to us at least, is a very hard line that cannot be crossed, right? Let's say it's a circus, right? Now, these are hence not listed on the platform. There are certain animal, engagement or activity that are a bit on the gray line. What we look for is when we go talk to these attraction partners, are they willing to engage, right? Are they willing to listen about what are some of the best practices that, yes, I think the Western market has gone further ahead. And if they do, then let's have that conversation, right? Is it a monetary support that's needed? Is it a marketing support or whatsoever? Then let's take that step-by-step approach on that.
Okay, so let's go back to the hero's journey because we got to end there. And so you got to return to the top. You want to return to the top with the gift of the goddess, right? So Ethan, what's the gift you would wish for to take you back to the top?
A peaceful head. I think I'm still... the team know me quite well. I'm still quite impatient. So sometimes I can be a bit too direct and a bit pushy. So, to me, I think it's always about, business-wise, we're already exceeding our previous top, right? So when we look at this, is what do we need to grow ourselves continually that we can just continue reaching a new top and new milestone? And to me is how to continue finding inner peace.
Try and find your zen. Okay. So if you disagree, who usually wins? Can you all guess that? Okay. Who's the starter?
But it doesn't mean he would do it. So we still need to talk. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good compromise there. Who's the starter? Who's the scaler?
We're both starters.
You're both starters.
But we're both doing scaling right now.
Learning,
yes.
So you're learning to be scalers, which was actually the Nepal trip that led you to start Klook, actually, when you were scaling mountains.
Yes.
Right? So I'm going to borrow from the wit and wisdom of Charlie Munger, and he says, do the unpleasant task first. What is the most unpleasant task for you?
Clearing emails. I get a lot of spam. I think a lot of different organizations somehow find my email address very easy. So.
Okay. Ethan, one maxim is find out what you're best at, then pound away at it forever. What are you best at?
Be myself.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So therefore, when you look into the mirror... No, I'm going to switch. Eric. When you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Wrinkles.
Oh,
started to appear after 9 years since together on the stage. We were just talking actually earlier, it's like since the 2015, we're like, actually, have we ever been together on a stage? Obviously not the company stage. No.
Wow.
So,
our first time is always taken by WiT.
Yeah. And the second one is with you.
Fantastic.
But yes, now wrinkles.
So Ethan, when you look in the mirror, you see yourself clearly. But when you look at Eric, what do you see?
He still looks the same as when we first started. Yes. I have no idea why he thinks that, but yeah, it's good. It's good. You still look the same.
Isn't this a beautiful bromance? I don't know what it is about male friendships that can build businesses and then stay friends. So please join me in thanking Ethan and Eric for gracing the WiT stage for the first time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.